Hey guys, this is Brian at OBEDIA, and today I'm going to show you how we can set up touchAble version 1.3 and its related server on the PC. This is pretty easy to do, and so let's go ahead and dive right into it. Now, in order to start setting up touchAble, we're just going to need two applications, and that's going to be the touchAble server setup, which is available from touchAble's website, and you can download the latest version there. And then we're going to need MIDI aux. MIDI aux is available from MIDIaux.com. And I should make a note about MIDI aux, and that is that currently, as of the making of this video, there is no Windows 7 installer for MIDI aux. There is a Windows NT installer and a Windows XP installer. So if you're on XP, you're okay. If you're on 7, like me, I just ran the NT installer, and that seemed to work just fine. So I've never had any issues with that. So just grab and make use of the MIDI aux NT installer, and you should be okay. So the first thing we need to do is install touchAble, and we can just double-click on the touchAble server installer, and then we can start following along with the wizard that opens up. And the first thing we're going to find is that if we already have touchAble installed on our system, touchAble is going to tell us that it needs to install over the current version, which we have installed on our system. After that, the touchAble server installer will find your default live application directory, but if you have installed Ableton Live into a location which is a special location somewhere on your system, you can specify where that location is so that touchAble knows where it should install the scripts in order to be able to make itself work with Ableton Live. After that, go ahead and install MIDI aux. Again, just get the installer that you need for your system and follow through the wizard for installing MIDI aux. And after you have those two applications installed, go ahead and launch the touchAble server. When it first opens up, you'll find that you have a good few options which you can change if you would like with respect to the in and out MIDI ports. However, you probably will not need to change anything when you first open up the touchAble server, so you really should be good to go right out of the box. But make sure that the server is opened and running because we're going to need it in order to communicate with Ableton Live. So now let's go ahead and open up Ableton Live. Now in Ableton, we want to open up the preferences. So we're going to go into our preferences menu in Ableton. If it's not already selected, click on the MIDI and Sync tab. Now in the first open and available pull-down slot in the control surface section, click and select touchAble 1. Then on the input section, click and select In from MIDI Yoke 3. Scroll down, and under the MIDI ports, you're going to want to enable the track on function for In from MIDI Yoke 1 and 2. Simply enable those, then scroll down, and now enable the Sync On option for Out to MIDI Yoke 1. This is all the setup that you're really going to need to do in Ableton Live. So now that Ableton's set up, you're going to be wondering, how do we make the iPad communicate with our computer in order to make it communicate with touchAble? Well, there's a couple different ways. The first is, if our iPad is on the same Wi-Fi network as our PC machine, we should be able to simply connect both of them to the same Wi-Fi network and therefore have the iPad find touchAble running on our PC and therefore connect up just fine. However, if you happen to be in a situation where you don't have a Wi-Fi router, say you're playing live or something like that, you can set up a wireless ad hoc network. And a wireless ad hoc network will allow two wireless devices to communicate with each other. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to open up the Network and Sharing Center here on my PC. I'm clicking on the networking icon in my taskbar, and I'm just going to click on the text for Network and Sharing Center. When the Network and Sharing Center opens up, I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to click on Setup a New Connection or Network. In the resulting window, I'm going to scroll down and click on Setup New Wireless Ad Hoc Computer-to-Computer Network, and I'm going to start following the wizard right here. And so I'll get some information on what an ad hoc network is. And then in the next window, I'm going to give my network a name, and I'm just going to go ahead and call this touchAble for right now. And then I need to select a security type. This is important because you don't want people connecting to your computer who you don't want connecting to it. So click the pull-down menu and select WEP. Then in the security key section, simply enter a security key that you'll easily be able to remember, but that others won't easily be able to guess, because again, you don't want people whom you don't know being able to connect to your computer and get your shared files and various things like that. So simply enter a security key, which again, you're going to be able to quickly remember and recall. And when you're all done, move your mouse over and click on Save This Network. And then you're going to click Next, and your new network is going to be set up for you. So now you're going to have a wireless ad hoc network ready to go on your system. So now if you take a look at the currently available network connections on your computer, you will find that you now have a new network called touchAble. So if you connect to that network, you will find that your PC will be ready to accept new connections from other wireless devices. And that means that you can then find that ad hoc network from your iPad and simply connect with your iPad to that ad hoc network on your PC. And then those two devices will be ready to communicate with each other. So that's really all that you need to do. Again, this is really useful if you're in a live situation or somewhere where you don't have a Wi-Fi network. After that, you should be all set to start using touchAble. Check out our touchAble operation video in order to find out more about using touchAble with Ableton Live. And as always, stay in touch with me, Brian at OBEDIA.com. And I hope that this was helpful to you guys. And until next time, happy music making to you, and take care.